All right, I'm on hole number 4 of the 2020 Community Cup. I'm in the opening round of the rookie division. Hole number 4 is going to be Greenock Point, and it's hole number 1. It's a par 3, right? Par 3. Now I'm making a change on this hole, and I want to see. I've got this hole. I'm real close. I haven't made a hole in one yet, but I'm going to make a change on this hole because I want to see what the look is, and I want to try and get the way that the wind is blowing is the wind is blowing right along the end of this sand, and where my red line is I'm having to engage. I'm right over this sand with the wind, and it's distorting the rings, and I don't like dinking around with sand. Even when I was back here doing this shot back here, originally doing a navigator because you don't need everything, I switched to a quasar so I could put more side spin on it so that I could move the ball out this direction because I did not want to have to pull over the sand because it distorts the rings. And once you get your setup and you're over sand, number one, the sand, here's the fairway, and then here's the sand trap. The sand is lower, and your ball gets affected differently when you're over sand. And for those of you that are playing in the upper tours where you have to do a 15 ring pull and you end up in the middle of this sand trap, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That when your ball is over sand, even though the wind's pushing you this way, it affects it different when you're starting off with your ball guide over the sand. So if I can get away from sand, I want to do that. So I'm going to switch to a Kingmaker, and that pushes my red line because my red line right now is like right there. I want to push my red line up here so that I can maneuver my ball just slightly forward, just a little bit more forward, so that when I do my full adjustment, I'm off here. Now, what it's going to change is right now I'm putting on about a quarter topspin, and it's going to change this number because I'm moving the ball forward a little bit. The last few times I've been here, I've been just slightly short of the cup, and I was working this number at the beginning of the week because distance is the first thing that I work on, the very first thing. And once I get my distance down, then I can really start focusing on other stuff because, I always want to terminate right pin high. I don't want to be past the hole and I don't want to be short of the hole. I want to be pin high. I want my distance to be right. So I'm going to have to change this number, I'm sure. I have the shot down, the shot that we've been practicing all week, but I'm in my practice account. And this is the account that if you're thinking about making a change, this is the account that you want to use, or I want to use to make that change so that I can, if I go, man, that's not working out, or I don't like that, that didn't work out like I thought, then I can, I know in my 77 account, because sometimes you're like, man, I really want to do that shot, but you have no practice at it and you're afraid to do it. I want to know, like, I can get that out of my system. Like, hey, I'd like to do that shot, but that shot sucks, or that shot's not going to work. There's one of the other holes, the other par 5, the mid par 5. I'm still practicing. I'm trying to see if coming at it from a slightly different angle gives us a better look at it. And I'm going to practice that again today because I do think that where I'm at out there, I can bring, I think it will make a difference. Okay, so now my red line is forward. So now I can get in front of that. It's max. And just a little, let's see how that works. It's 4-1 and I'm doing a 20% windage or 2-1, so that's going to be basically 2.5, 100% accurate club. 2.5 rings. Got my line dialed up. I did a shot the other day and I was way the hell off, and I was like, what's going on? And one of my viewers was like, hey man, you were facing northeast instead of north. Ah. I did put just a titch more topspin, and I like the speed there. And I hit it great to the left, and it ended up great to the left. And I like that. So I like the fact that I was able to move in front of that sand so that my wind adjustment, and it's not like with that lower wind, it actually, I'm not quite sure whether it's been better or worse with the lower wind, because with the lower wind, you're right there at it. But any of the winds there where you have to engage that sand trap with the distorted rings, I was able to move just slightly in front of that. And get away from having to do that sand adjustment. That did not look like the wind adjustment. They pulled it back instead of to the side. That looked like a really weird, that's that hole. Watch, and it'll go in the hole. When people eyeball those wind adjustments, I have no freaking clue what the heck is going on. Because to me, that looked like you should have moved it off to the left because the wind's blowing to the right and they moved it back. So I made a change on that, and I've been playing that all week long with the katana. And I know that that seems like just a small little deal or like a, you know, but for me, that's a personal preference when dealing with that sand. And if you've ever been over, and if you've had that shot and you've had to deal with that sand and it looked like it was a little bit, you were having, you know, with the sand distorting the rings and it was a little bit hard to do it. That's just a personal thing. I wanted to try and eliminate that sand from the equation and just making a ball change right there. And it looked like the top spin that I put on was about the same as I was doing before, and the speed was still pretty good. So not much of a change, but a little bit of a ball change just for the setup. If I would have hit that perfect, that would have been better so that we could have at least seen like where it was at. But I am going to change that on my notes and go with a Kingmaker instead of a katana. I'm going to scratch out the king for the katana. All right, still working the deal. All right, that was hole number 4 of the 2020 Community Cup in the opening round of the Rookie Division. Thanks for watching.